Starting a travel sketchbook can feel overwhelming. What to draw, what materials to use, where to begin. I know, I've been there. Because when you are traveling, you have to decide very fast what you want to draw and then catch the moment, the place, and the feeling and move on. So in this video, I'm going to show you a simple way to start without overthinking it. Hi, I'm Monica. I'm an artist and illustrator, and I love to sketch when I'm traveling or going out and about because it's a great way to slow down and observe the place you are in. It's so much better than just taking a million pictures and let all those pictures sit in your phone forever and you never look again. A sketchbook full of sketches that you capture that moment that you were there is a better souvenir for any travel or even as a diary for your daily life, daily moments. Okay, now the first thing we are going to talk about is what is a travel sketchbook. Travel sketchbook is not about perfect drawings, not about being a perfect sketchbook with beautiful drawings, beautiful sketchings that you can show on social media. That's not what it's about. A travel sketchbook is about capturing moments in quick sketches, put a little bit of colors and small notes, things that is going to help you remember how a place felt. So I'm going to show you a few examples here. I have this sketchbook that I usually carry with me when I'm out and about. And this one day that we were out to have lunch at the local restaurant. So I try to capture here that day inside the restaurant. So the food, drink, put the name and how I felt about and how the food was, the drink was. And then I did full sketch of the interior of the restaurant on the opposite page. And this, of course, for beginners, you might feel a little bit overwhelmed to sketch the full interior. But what I'm showing here is that you can start small, just sketching the food, sketching the drink, and maybe instead of putting the full interiors, just draw the table and or a stool or even the only the chandelier that you see inside. You don't need to sketch the whole build. You start small and then you build from there. So another example is this other sketchbook. This one I took with me on our trip to America last summer, and this was in New York. The day we were spent outside, it was very hot, very nice weather. The first thing you did in the morning was to visit the public library, and then we sat outside, and then we were there observing everything that was going on, the locals, going about their day, going to work, and also tourists like us was just sitting and enjoying some food and drink outside. We also saw the bride and groom on the steps of the library taking pictures. And then we went to Bryant Park, so a lot of people outside as well. So I try to capture that on this spread. It's not a beautiful spread, it's not a perfect spread. There's some issues with perspective here, but what I wanted is to capture that moment that we were there. And now every time that I open this book, this sketchbook, and I remember exactly what happened that day, how I felt, how the weather was, how warm it was, everything. So that what is a travel sketchbook is about, or travel, sketching is about capturing moments in quick sketches, adding a bit of color, small notes, things that help you remember how a place felt. Now I'm gonna talk about the materials, what you're going to take on a travel or out and about to keep it very simple. Okay, first of all, you're going to need a sketchbook, obviously. So I recommend a medium sketchbook like this one that I have here. It's a A5, almost A5 size. It's a little smaller than A5. And it's a nice size because as you can see, you can have a nice space to put everything that you want. It's not too small and not too big. It's easy to carry this one with you. This is 14 by 20 centimeters, and I made this sketchbook myself. Most of my sketchbooks that I use watercolor paper, and I bind them myself because I know that watercolor sketchbooks can be quite pricey because of the paper, and so I usually bind my own. This one also I made this, I binded this myself. I even did the design of the cover, all the sketches here, and I printed out on the fabric, and I made this. I made this bigger because I knew that in this trip I was going to sketch quite a lot, because it was 3 weeks holiday that we went to America. So 1 week in New York and 2 weeks on a road trip through the New England states, the 6 New England states. So I knew that I was going to travel, sketch a lot. So I made this a little bit larger. So I wanted that. But for daily sketches and going out about, I think this size is perfect. You don't need more than that. And then you are going to need a waterproof pen, because if you are going to use watercolors, you need a waterproof pen. Also, you are going to need pencil and eraser. Can be mechanical pencil or normal regular pencil. Then you need your watercolors. I have my own set that I put the paints on the inside, and I create my own 20 colors here. But if you are starting out, you don't have watercolors and you are going to buy, I recommend that you get a pre-made set like this one from Winsor Newton, 12 colors. You can mix these colors and make a bunch of other colors that is going to be perfect for you to be painting your sketches. Then brush. I have a set that's a travel set of brush. They have the lid, so you can protect the bristles when um, you are carrying them inside your bag. So if you are going to use regular brush like this, take with you. So you need to have a place to put a holder to put your brush in order not to damage the bristles. So that's why I would recommend to get one of these. You don't need to get the whole set. You could get individuals because they sell individuals as well. And when you get a brush, get one that's 5, 6, or 8, because it's a good size for washes, to do very quick washes. But if you can buy 2 brushes, buy another one that's size 2 or 3, a smaller one for more small things that you're going to add, or small details. So, and that's it. You don't need much. And obviously you're going to need paper or a cloth so you can dry and clean your brushes. I also carry with me a spray bottle, water bottle, so it's easier for spraying on the palette and wet the paint very fast in a quick way. And I also carry a couple of clip binders to hold the sketchbook open, which is also quite nice to have with you. But that's it. I think that's all you need for your travel sketching. Okay, now it's time to talk about what to draw. So you have all your materials, you have your sketchbook, you get to a location, sit down, and then you think, what I'm gonna do now? What I'm gonna sketch first? So you don't have to draw everything. You're going to see a lot of things going on around you. You're going to see a lot of buildings and objects and people, but you have to simplify, choose and pick and choose what you want to draw and sketch, and that's it. And so you don't feel overwhelmed about everything around you. So I'm going to give a few examples here. So in this sketchbook, I have this. I start this with this cup of coffee. Very simple, small, a few shapes and a color. Then I did the corner of the coffee shop. I did a table and chairs. The table chair is very simple, round shape, skinny legs, and that's it. Then I did this counter on inside the coffee shop. They have all this food, so few shapes showing the plates and the cake stands, and then all the pastries and cakes, and I put some color in it to represent each one, but very in a very simplified way, not worrying about to represent each food that you see on top of the counter. And then I did the facade, right, facade. So the facade of the building, I did a straight view of the front of the coffee shop, but it's very simple way, very simple shapes, and then I put some colors, and that's it. That's what I did. But everything start with the cup of coffee. So you start small, and then you build to something, more elaborate, and you start putting all the things that you want that is around you, but not everything. You have to pick and choose. So in this other example here, this is from our trip to America last summer, and I start this with this watercolor sketch. I blocked here the area in pencil, like in a Polaroid size, and then I sketched the landscape very fast. I just put the horizon line, the line where the sand and the water meet, so I could, divide the colors, and the little house, the building there, and the fence, and some steps here. And then I put the color. I left some parts in white. I didn't put color in everything, and that's it. Very fast. I start this, and then I build from there by adding a few small illustrations here of the things: lobster, the clam chowder, and also the lighthouse and the mailbox. We saw a lot of this mailbox in the houses around the area that we were. And then I move on to do a more full scene that what was going on that day. And this is my daughter walking, towards the sea. It was a very nice, very blue sky that day, very hot. And yeah, I tried to capture even the shadows here of the post and the shadow of my daughter walking as well. But you don't have to get to this scene on the first sketch you're going to do. You start small, and then you build, with the others sketch. You start your sketches like choose a building or a street corner, or even a small detail like a door or a cup of coffee, like I did on the sketch here. So start simple and don't get yourself into too much worry about what to draw. When you begin, focus on basic shapes, not details. So that's what I'm going to show you now on a quick demo sketch that I'm going to do for you. When you start very simple. You don't need to worry much about how the drawing is going to be in the beginning. Start with simple shapes. So I'm going to draw a cup of coffee from Starbucks. Okay, so you're gonna start. I'm doing in pencil first. You can do pencil too. Don't worry about that. And then you start with. I'm going to do a little bit strong so you can see it. So you start with a very simple shape. Like I said, you don't need to worry much about, how it's going to be. See, very simple. Just simple shape in here, and then if you want to add the details, you add here the logo and the name is Starbucks. Okay, so very simple. Then you can do is just add the line after you done this, and you feel, oh, okay, that's how I want to be, I don't want to change anything. So, and then you come here, and then you add the lines in ink, waterproof ink, because then we are going to add color. So you need this to be waterproof. Okay, so the same you do here in the middle. You don't need to worry much about. And then Starbucks. Okay, so that's it. And then we are going to add the color. So very simple. You get your watercolors, and so I'm going to add it, because the cup usually are white. So what I'm gonna do is just add shades of the gray, just to create some shadow. So I'm getting a little bit of gray here. And oh, before you start that, you can, if you want, you can erase the lines of the pencil. If you don't want to show that, you could erase. Otherwise, you can just do it on top of it. There's no need to erase, especially when you're out and about. You don't want to get too many steps. And then you come and add a little bit of shade, put some shade here, and get some, color, just to create a little bit of shadow, right? And then here you do, suppose that the light's coming on this way, so you do like this, you add a little bit, and then let's do the logo, which is green. So let me get here, I'm gonna mix two types of green here, because I don't have Hooker's green here. I have only the Perylene green and Sapphire green. So I'm gonna mix these two and get a little bit of a darker green, right? And then you come here and you add this to your drawing. You don't need to worry much about. Okay, added this. You can do all this if you want, make everything green, and then you are done. That is for a quick sketch of the cup. You can also, if you are doing the drawing on this cup on a table, if you decide to do the table, then you can add some shade here, so it can be more grounded, the cup. Okay, just add some shade, and that's it. You are done. That's your first sketch. So after you're done, you put your watercolors. Keep it simple, light, very loose. Don't need to worry much about, adding too many colors or paint everything inside the lines. And then when you're done with that, you just have to add a few words. One of the most powerful things you can add is text, because that is going to give the full context of the place that you were, the moment that you were there. So the few words you could add is where you are, so the location. So in this case, let's imagine that we are at Starbucks. So you can add the name Starbucks. You can add this on top of the page, very big. If you intended to fill the whole page with things there from Starbucks, then you add the name big there, or you could add in the middle the big name. And things that you notice, like, there are too many people on the Starbucks when you were there, or just a few people, was quiet, was noisy, how it was that moment you spent there, how you felt, if you a little bit joyful, or you were annoyed because there's too many noise or whatever. You can add anything you want that makes you remember from that place that you were. So yeah, in this case I could just add the location. Let's put like I'm in Reading, So I'm gonna put the name Reading here, don't need to worry much. And I could add here, because I like to create some different kind of writings. So I could get the Starbucks cup and copy the same lettering that you have on the logo of Starbucks. I could add that on this cup as well. Their logo is very simple, so I'm gonna try to get their logo right here. And let's see if I can do it. I think I'm gonna be able to do it. Let's see. And you could do this straight with the pen instead of wasting your time doing it pencil, but that is up to you. I'm just showing the options so you can know what you could do with your travel sketchbook, because sometimes people feel that, oh, I can't do with pen, so I have to do straight with pen so I don't have the urge to erase. Because sometimes we want to erase especially when you do something a little bit messy. So yeah, when you do with pencil, you tend to go and try to erase and do it again. And I think that some people think that might lose the spontaneity that from the moment when you try to erase something, but you can erase if you want. Starbucks, you see, it's not very beautiful, it's not perfect, but it's the way it is. Usually their logo is green on the background and the lettering is white. But in this case, I could do, artistic license. You can do whatever you want. So in this case, I'm gonna do the letters. The letters I'm going to do green because the background of my page is white. So I come here and I'm gonna add some color, very fast without worrying much. You can let this dry later on and you can add the ink if you want, or you can just leave as it is. See, you can make this and that's it. That's one lettering, the words that you create. Starbucks. And Reading, that I put Reading because that's where I am. Now you can add that. You can add the date, okay? And you put the date under here, or you can put the date in the corner of the page. Usually put some date here on the corner, but it's up to you how you are going to do. And then if you want to continue, you could, like, if you were eating something, you could put the food around here because you create the balance, the food, the drink here, the food here. And then if you want to add something else, you don't want to add it, suppose you don't want to draw anything too big like a table or chair, but you could draw other things that you see, the light, the chandelier. If they have a chandelier there, you can add here. And just an example, if they have a chandelier, you can add it here. And if you want to add a table chair, you could add here on the corner and make the food smaller and put here and put the table down here with the chair. So you can create the spread of this page the way that you feel natural for you. But yeah, that's to start. Very simple, without much worry about. Your sketchbook doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, the imperfect pages are often the most meaningful. And in this spread here, I did this a year and a half ago, almost. And it was a very chaotic morning that I had. It was funny and chaotic at the same time. and I put everything here on the page, and it's nice to remember what happened that day. So that's what it's about. It's about capturing moments, daily life, and your travel that you can later on remember then. If you would like to go deeper, I'm creating a full course where I'm going to guide step by step through the whole process of sketching, travel sketching, from sketching in pencil, outlining ink, and then adding colors and building a full sketchbook spread. I hope this video has helped you in some way. If it did, just let me know in the comments, and I see you in the next video.